Hi everyone and welcome again to the Performance Podcast, and today we have a very good friend of mine who is the Chief Team Physician of the Paralympic Committee of India. So welcome on the Performance Podcast, Major Ameya.
Thank you so much, and it's nice that she mentioned a very good friend and not a special guest, and we are honored to have him and all that.
Well, I am honored to have you. Thank you for coming.
Correct, it's okay. Friend was good. Yeah.
Friend was good. Okay, so as is tradition in my podcasts, please give me a small introduction of yourself.
You hit the nail on the head. I'm a medical doctor. I did my MBBS, then I joined the army and served for 6 years as a medical officer. Came out, did my PG abroad in sports science and sports medicine, and ever since I've worked in various academies, the most prominent one being the Sports Authority of India. Now I'm a visiting consultant in a couple of other universities in Bangalore itself, and thanks to you. Although it's your podcast, but it's my center,
Yes.
So this is where I will start to operate very soon. And of course, the main thing why we are on this place is that because I work very closely with the Paralympians of the country, and I'm the chief team physician since the Tokyo Paralympics, and I'm also a classifier in this space.
And very recently also a fellow team doctor in an IPL team.
Yeah.
So welcome to IPL, RR. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, you're talking as if you own RR, man. No, not bad.
Actually, not a bad idea, but not yet.
Yeah.
So
you're the IPL veteran here.
Yeah, right. So tell me a little bit about your center first to start off with. Krida, how did this come about and why the name?
Oh yeah, Krida, see, in Sanskrit, as everybody knows, it's sport, it's to play, and I wanted a very Indianness and the Indian feeling to it. I see a lot of fancy names, and this is something which I really want, not just people, it should start to resonate with me and myself first. So that's why the name comes from, and we've been very realistic, that's why it's human performance and not high performance, because I don't consider this high performance at all. I have seen what high performance is. So any and every human coming here, irrespective of their abilities, disabilities, impairments, injuries, want to become fit, we just want to make them perform better. So hence the three words amalgamate and become Krida, human performance.
That's actually beautiful. In fact, that is a very similar philosophy that we run Performance Doctor with. Everybody is an athlete. I mean, if you move, you are an athlete.
Few of them, but yeah.
Hey, come on, point A to point B.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and going back, you touched a little bit on a previous podcast about how you started para sport and how you started working in there.
Yeah.
So elaborate.
Again, as I mentioned, it's not me choosing para sport, it's para sport choosing me. So again, I was just seeing a bunch of athletes on wheelchair, on a playground, unseen, unheard, at least from my standpoint, which was very ignorant of me to not know something as big as this. And I just happened to meet a very senior coach in the Paralympic Committee of India, and he introduced me to these athletes, and I was awestruck as to firstly why they're doing what they're doing and what the hell is all this about. So first I was taken aback and I was like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. The doctor in me came out, but then once I started putting my head into it, I was just dragged along to becoming a very nice, beautiful part of this whole universe of parasport. And from there, I took it on to become a classifier, which is again the most vital cog in parasport.
So when you said like you met so many para athletes and that's where your journey started, is there one story which made an impact?
Oh, absolutely. So in the Sports Authority of India Bangalore campus, it's like my sports medicine department is on one side of the road and right opposite is the elite men's hostel. And that's where the Indian hockey team trains, and predominantly I was roped in to be their team doctor. So when I used to see them and the coach used to tell me that, doc, 7 a.m. training, I'd be like, cool, we'll be there, get up, 6:30, 6:45 breakfast, 6:50, just walking distance, everything was right there. And then when the para-athletics coach came to me and said, that we also have a training session, but it's scheduled at 7:30. I'm like, fine, I can be there when the hockey boys are not practicing. But then what do I see? He told me that, no, you have to be there at 6. And I didn't realize, like, why do I go 1 hour before? Like, no, because the journey for them to come from their hostel to get up somebody has to be there, and there are chances where you would know there's postural hypotension.
Yes.
For the amputee who is just fixing his limb, there can be pressure sores there. So we had to do a background check of those first. So then that made me realize that the challenge is reaching the field is somewhat an achievement.
Wow, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But the competition starts much before all of that. And that got me intrigued as to, okay, so these are the things me as a clinician, as a doctor, needs to look out for. And it's not just, all the athletes assemble on the ground, we have a bit of a team huddle, and then, boom, we go and practice. So that's one of the things which really stayed with me, and it still does. Mm-hmm. So this is one example I give very frequently.
That's actually, like, I think that's something that everyone really needs to think about, because we take things in our life so granted every day. Just our morning routines or everything, we just take it for granted. So let's all take a minute to think about that.
Absolutely.
And from there to, say, the last Paris Paralympics.
Absolutely. And
yeah, so like, how was that journey?
Beautiful, actually. And the thing was that I'm so happy that I got the opportunity to be the chief medical officer for not one but two Paralympics, and so I get to be a part of a whole cycle.
Yes.
And somewhere it has me growing as a person, mm-hmm. professionally, personally, and also growing with the para movement India. Because no matter what was said and done, I feel so much more comfortable when I am talking to a para athlete right now. So when I'm seeing that rise, mm-hmm. forget the medal tally, and you have all the stats available on the internet and all that. But right from Tokyo Paralympics, Para-Asian Games, Paris Paralympics, there has been tremendous growth. And for me, it is how much of an impact it has made to India as a country. Because for most of us, it's India first.
Yes.
We just want to see that flag on the podium.
Absolutely.
But more than that, what does it take to get that flag up there? It's the participation. Now, what it takes to participate, it's more competitions, more local competitions, and that has increased. So that's been the most satisfying part. And as you said, I've been an IPL doctor for the first time this season. Mm-hmm. But trust me, the kind of meaningful work that you do it with a para-athlete in terms of how you approach a particular case, right from the logistics, the administrative part, the kit, the equipment, and then the practice. Trust me, you have to apply all your brain cells when you're working with the para-athletes as compared to an IPL team or any able-bodied sport for that matter.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very recently, I actually traveled abroad with my 4-year-old, and for the most part, to save myself and my back, I put him in a stroller. And just that, it's a very simple thing, and pushing that stroller around and finding the routes that are stroller friendly, which also means wheelchair friendly, it was actually pretty easy there, which got me thinking, would I be able to do this back home?
Yeah.
So what I'm coming to with this is, what do you think goes through for an athlete when they go abroad and they see other athletes who've got these kinds of ease of access and facilities to what they have back home here? Yeah. How does that impact them?
See, the way I look at it is I'm an optimistic guy.
Yeah.
But to be realistic in the same sense is that when you're wanting to work in a para environment, mm-hmm. first there needs to be a mindset shift, right? Mm-hmm. Because we Indians are very good with jugaad. Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Whatever said and done, the work needs to be done, it has to be done.
Absolutely.
But there's an extent to how much do we normalize this, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So when our athletes go abroad, yes, they have accessibility, they have the routes and all that, but that you're talking sport. But as you mentioned in day-to-day lives, I can't tell a wheelchair-bound athlete or wheelchair user-friendly athlete to go from place, say, even in a city like Bangalore, to catch a bus and move around. Mm-hmm. So until that happens, it is going to be tough. So as I think the previous speaker also mentioned about the facilities, when a para-athlete walks into a gym, mm-hmm. He should not or she should not worry about how am I going to get there. Does the gym have a lift? Does it have a ramp? Does it have equipment that is user-friendly? The day that happens, then you're taking para-sport at the truest elite level, and not just a particular category of people in para-sport, because there's a lot of classification that goes on. Mm-hmm. every classification or every category of para-athlete needs that kind of assistance and need that kind of support in order to be, in order to see India as those top 3 and 5 medalists.
And for a doctor like me, or not even me, let's say someone who's finished MBBS and is a sports medicine aspirant, if they are looking to enter para as a career, what would you advise them?
My advice is to be very passionate and open to learning. Like I did my PG very late. I took a gap. I served in the army after 6 years. So generally, the notion in India and the doctors is that pehle chalo padhai karte. So it's UG, PG, and then fellowship, and that never ends. That cycle. You know how it is. I'm glad I broke out of that cycle.
Thank God.
But yeah. So, but if you have to work in this field, be open to change. Be open to unlearn, which is so important. We know our anatomy, we know the gastrocnemius is here, the labrum is here, everything. But there are so many aspects that you need to unlearn. So what if the gastrocnemius is not there? Now how do you do?
Exactly. So
that's where first, of course, the foundation is extremely important. But after that, how do you apply? That's so much more important. So because the anatomy is different, and it's just like when I say different, it's not an alien's anatomy. It's still a human body, but scientifically it is somewhat different. Now, how do you
not typically Netter's diagrams?
Absolutely. Yes. Maybe it's in a way it's different. So I think the young budding doctors and physiotherapists need to look at it as a beautiful challenge. Like now, when I'm a classifier and I'm an international classifier, so I can travel countries and I get to examine an athlete from Brazil, Cambodia, Vietnam, Hungary. I don't see myself doing that if I'm a clinician in Bangalore, a conventional clinician in Bangalore.
Of course.
So that's where I get my thrill in this profession. So I'm very much associated with medicine, but I'm also working in a sporting field and the knowledge is being tested to the T. And when I say to the T, it is like, you literally go back crying home and you're like, am I going to read that anywhere else? It's like that.
True. It's like, I think we look at, say, the ER as some place that is challenging, but then this is probably like 10 times that.
See, ER has its own challenges, life and death and stuff. But in the sporting world, I feel there's opportunity. We have a scope of 20, 21 PGs, MDs and MS, what we can do. Sports medicine is very new in India.
Yes.
And it's growing rapidly. But even with that, you have neurologists, you have ENT surgeons, you have psychiatry with the intellectually impaired. The people can get into parasport with their kind of knowledge, because ultimately what does it take to be a para-athlete? They have a medical condition.
Exactly.
And that medical condition can be associated with any specialty.
True.
Right? So any specialty can take a little bit of interest from their main practice to just come and see how we can improve their lives. And I would look at it from a little bit of a selfish way, if I may use.
Yeah.
You're not doing them a favor.
Correct.
Which actually you're enhancing your knowledge.
Correct.
And in the garb of it, if you're helping an individual attain performance or, day-to-day functional activity, why not?
Absolutely. And in fact, something that I'm just learning from this off the top of my head is, so far I keep talking about a multidisciplinary team in all of my podcasts.
Yeah.
And my mind with that is usually nutritionist, physiotherapist, psychologist, doctors, the works. But now I'm starting to realize we need to bring in a neurologist,
100%.
A cardiologist, maybe an orthopedician, everyone into the fold.
Yes. And the thing is that by everyone I mean, I'm not saying go dwell deep into it. I understand they have their respective professions and their respective specialties to take care of. But at least some idea, because a para-athlete can be found in every corner of India.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You see our roads.
Of course.
When you talk about person with disabilities, the highest number is due to road traffic accidents.
Absolutely.
So again, this is the challenge. When you talk about able body, I think we would be chatting about LTAD, the long-term athlete development. At 6 years you do this, at 9 years you do this, at 10 years you do this.
Yeah.
That's great again.
Yeah.
But a para-athlete at 40 completely fine, meets with a road traffic accident.
So
he's a para-athlete.
And it's LTAD from there.
From there.
Yeah.
And from his age, from his musculature, his bone age, how do you work with him? Now, isn't that a challenge?
Yes, definitely.
Right?
And a challenge we want to take up.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't have an answer for that until and unless I work with such an individual.
Yes. And we can't really think of what's going to come. How much do you prepare in such a scenario?
Absolutely.
So that was actually an amazing chat, and just a one-liner advice for those very same students who want to take up parasport.
I mean, that's the advice. Be passionate about it and be open to learning at any age.
Thank you so much, Ameya, for doing this.
Right on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.